Found out what was messing up with my little lavaliere mic that I bought. So this was the mic, and I'd noticed that the plug had become loose, and on peeling it apart, this had actually all broken, separating the wires. So not only is this wire down here, which is probably the power one, but all the other little bits cracked at the joins where they entered this part. Did purchase a new one. They're slightly different, and I thought I'd gone to repurchase from the same place, but I obviously didn't, because you can see slight differences in the microphone. But the most important difference to me is the shape of the receivers. Now, this one fit perfectly into the back of my phone with the case on. This one does not, because of the way it flares out. So I cannot use this if I keep the same case on that I currently have, which is a nice big shockproof case. I'll have to come up with some idea around that. But I guess the lesson learned here, when this isn't being used, take the receiver out of the phone. My problem was I put the phone back into my pocket with the receiver still connected while I was walking, or I think in particular while I was working in the yard, and bending, crouching, moving around obviously cracked the receiver. So lesson learned on that. But I think I might have to see if I can find another one that is this style of design, because it worked well. I'll just remember to take it in and out when I'm not using it. Just finished with year 11. Most of them are out of work placement, but I've got a couple that are here because they're doing a school-based traineeship, so they don't have to do work placement. They do work with that. So I had a couple of them working here on their toolbox. So I was meant to have them before and after recess, but you can hear that. The roof replacement that's been going on around the school, they were doing this area this morning, and while there was no sheeting on the roof, nobody could be in here just in case somebody fell through. They got all of that section sheeted before recess so that we could come in here after recess, so that we can hear them putting the screws in and walking around up there. But the bit that hasn't got any roofing on it is way over there now, over the other workshops. So we got to be in here, do a bit of work. It was a pity that we missed out on having the double. I might see if I can get some extra lessons in them, depends on how busy it is up the top. Long day, just finished with 12 timber, still going well, thankfully. Got a little bit caught up and was a little late to the class, but they worked well. They worked a little bit past 4. I think I need to make some phone calls, but it's already late, so I don't think I'll stick around doing all my stuff on the computer. I like to do that at home. Got a day off tomorrow. Heading in to see this morning. What I thought might have been COVID again is just a cold. It's destroyed my throat. But I've got a aspiring DPs conference that I'm going to that's down in the city. The trains I'm catching should get there just before time. It's about a 10-minute walk to the venue. Anyway. beautiful weekend. Saturday today, and we have a long weekend this weekend. Monday's a public holiday. It was once the Queen's birthday. I don't know whether they're calling it the King's birthday or not. My local pharmacy was calling it the Monarch's birthday, because they're going to be closed. Beautiful blue sky. And I've remembered to check that I was on video and not time-lapse this time. I've had the worst sinus problems and my throat. I lost my voice Wednesday arvo. I still had it, but it wasn't as strong Thursday when we went to the conference for aspiring deputy principals. The train that I was catching was going to be timed perfectly to get there on time, because there was like a 10 or so minute walk at the other end in the city. It was telling me to get off at Redfern and change trains. Prefer to just go through to Central and change trains. Before we got to Redfern, it stopped and just sat on the tracks for about 15 minutes. Then it started to move again. If this had happened now, this might happen at Central, between there and Central as well. So I got up to get off the train. It stopped and sat still again. You could see all these people getting frustrated on the train. So I got off at Redfern, went to the first platform that had a train going through the town hall. Got on that one, got through. A workmate of mine, who was also going, she'd made it on time, and so she held me a seat and got me a program and that sort of thing. I picked so many people that looked like teachers that might be going in, and then when I got to the conference, they were there. So very good conference. There was one session that was a bit dull because they just read their notes to a PowerPoint, and it was there was not like I'm liking pizzazz and that I've got the most expressive voice, but I try to when I'm presenting. I mean, this woman got up for her turn at the podium, and it was like, "We're so glad that you could be with us here today. We're here to talk about," and it was just, you could see her reading her notes. It was bad. But anyway, then coming home in the afternoon, got to Central, and there was a train about to, like, going in the next few minutes, but it didn't come all the way up the mountains, so there was no point. So I had to wait for like 40 minutes or something for the next train that would go all the way up. And then Friday, it was an okay day. Voice seemed to get a little bit better, and then it just disappeared again in the afternoon yesterday. It was kind of missing this morning, but it's loosened up a little. It is currently meant to be the warmest part of the day, 59 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the only way I know it, because that's the way my wife told me the temperature. I'll convert it. Brought them down to the flat session again, because last time he did start to get a little bit slower towards the end, so I want to make sure that I build that man back up to his walks before I do anything any longer, or anything with any sort of a grade to it, which is why we can't sort of just leave the house and go for a walk, because our street's got a big hill to it. Hopefully the weather's like this all weekend. They're making pretty good pace. Yeah, we should have gone over on the grass there, shouldn't we? I don't know whether it's council or whether it's the bloke who lives down the end of this road, puts all that rock into the road for the where it gets worn away too much, so it doesn't become a giant mud puddle. Walking at a better pace than last week. It's all right. Sunday and another walk. When we got back yesterday, my wife said that we were gone for a very short time. She said, "That's a really quick walk." We did a little bit further than we'd done last week. and their pace was a bit faster, just like they are now. I've parked a little further back. I came down to where we stopped last time, and then I went, no, actually, I'll go back just a little bit. We'll just walk along here and see how they go. If we turn around in roughly the same area, that should be a good walk. If we walk just a little bit, try and get a walk in each week if the weather's good. I won't be able to next week. Each time we all get out for a walk, the better the exercise will be for all of us and his legs, or his back legs. I'll still avoid the big hills for a little while. See, this is where we stopped last week, so it's hardly been any time. Like the timer on this says about 2.5 minutes. We've been walking for about 3. So I only just added a little bit to the distance. I remembered to set my watch to record the walk for a change, because the pace is never fast enough for it to auto-detect as an outdoor exercise. So I've started it and get it to record the distance and all that sort of thing. We'll keep a track of how we're all progressing and how he's healing. Got to remember too that Sam's an old boy. 14, I think. It's a boys. Look at this area just here. It's just caught my eye. That's all like the grass has been flattened over, and this area is just sort of like a bit cleared. Sort of goes up this way. And a little pathway here through the ferns. So that little flattened out area is likely where like a little family of wallabies might chill out in the morning or even spend the evening. There's a spot like that on the way to work. Quite often see a little mob of kangaroos every morning just in the long grass. They're way off from the road, but I just stopped the walk. Didn't know how to, so it took a little bit of time. 29 minutes, 54 seconds. 1.33 kilometres. Difference in altitude along the whole walk was 9 metres, so not really a lot in... Well, actually, that's a difference in height a little bit more than what our 3-storey house is at the back. But over such a long distance, it was just like... So I guess like the area that seems flat isn't that flat. It's probably just got a slight slope to it. Currently 14 degrees Celsius. I like the information this gives. My average heartbeat, 93 beats. Range between 83 and 109. Cool.